Okay, don't worry about it. All right, we are live.
Luis,
So,
let's go.
welcome everybody. We are Life Love Blessings. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to come in and we can share it. I got to find my phone. You can share it to, if you go to YouTube, you can share it to whoever you want to share it to. It should show. Let's see.
I took a social media sabbatical.
Go to YouTube, you can share it to whoever you
Let
want
me
to share
turn
it
that down.
to. I was going to say, do y'all hear something? But
I
that was okay.
social media.
So
That's
you,
me. I meant to
life.
turn that down before it came
How you
on.
spell my name? Oh.
This
Light.
emo-
Don't laugh
I'm
at
gonna
me
do
right
this
now.
emoji. This is the emoji.
Don't laugh at me right now, y'all. Where
I
we
know,
at?
AP.
You seen it?
That's the emo. I'm doing this emoji right here.
How'd you
The
see
face
it? Oh,
palm.
I see it now. Okay. Now I'm sharing it. I
I was
got you.
calling for my third
Hey, sis.
sister.
I see you. I'm about to share it. So let's see.
It's Tara.
And let's go to the comments. We got some people. Oh, my sister Stack's in here. My sister Tara's in here. Hey, sisters. Thank you for coming. I'm about to send it out. Why
Who
is it?
didn't share that? Oh, I see it. Okay. I didn't see the button at first. All right, let me put this send this to
All right, I sent it. Oh, that's the charge. You good, MJ? All right. So thank you everybody again for joining. This is Life Love Blessings. This is a place where we encourage others, we uplift God, and we learn to live in our happiness. But tonight, we have a real touchy conversation for myself. And I have some great sisters here with me to have this conversation. But we're going to talk about domestic violence. We're going to talk about awareness. I'm trying to find my banners. Um, I'm going to give it a few more seconds because my auntie, my EV, my evangelist, she's going to pray with us and cover us because I want um, everybody to be covered. I want everybody to be at peace as we do this. Everybody that's in the comments, everybody that's in the chat, understand that this is personal for all of us. And just please respect any hiccups that we may cause. This is mine and my sister Shayla's first time telling our story. And my sister Mental, my sister Meg, she's a professional at this. But I thank you, ladies. I thank you, ladies. I'm give it a few more seconds just to see if anybody else is gonna pop on. Did you say the sunflower auntie?
um no.
Because when you send the link through TikTok, they can't hit the link and come in. So it doesn't make sense for me to. I don't have sunflower's number.
I don't have a number either.
Hopefully, okay. You know what? We're just gonna go ahead and start. Michael, sit down, okay? I love you.
Hey MJ. Hey AJ.
AJ's still at work.
Oh, okay.
AJ's over here watching. What are you watching? Gravity Falls.
I have no idea what that is.
Girl. Oh, he said, and
The
he's eating
cartoon.
popcorn.
Oh, a cartoon? Oh, what was that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. He wanted the Emoji Movie, but I couldn't find it on Disney Channel. It was only on Amazon Prime, and they wanted $5. No, not tonight.
Wow.
And Emoji Movie's
Wow.
old, right?
Yes.
They charging
A
$5.
couple of years. A couple of years old.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
No. Find
And they
something that's
still
on
want
Disney.
$5?
$5. And the
Jesus,
thing is,
be a
I don't
saint.
mind paying it, but MJ might watch it for 10 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't buy movies.
You
Wow.
like me? I have Disney Plus for my grandbabies too.
Yes, we have
So when
Disney Plus.
everything new hit it, they can watch it.
Exactly. You don't gotta worry.
Wow.
And especially if your kids are like mine, ADHD, and they can't sit still. So if you take them to the movies, they don't get the whole movie anyway. So I love to get him a bag of popcorn and just let him. Right now, he's got the wig bag on his feet while he's not watching the movie. That's why I didn't pay for it. I see you. Yeah. I see you. Sis, did you make it to Florida? Are y'all there? Tara, is Daddy gone, or is he still with you? All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and start. I'm not gonna wait. If anybody wants to see it on replay, I don't want to hold you ladies up. Santi, you can go ahead and take us in prayer.
Yes, ma'am. We certainly can. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We're going to go in for prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Eternal God, our Father, we again say thank you. Father, we're thanking you for this day that you've given us, God. And we thank you right now, Lord, that you've kept us all during the day. And we thank you, Lord, that you've kept us right up to this time period tonight.
Yes, God.
Father, we pray right now tonight, God, that someone will have a listening ear, God, to hear what's about to take place. Father, we pray right now tonight, God, that if someone has been impacted by this, God, we're
Yes.
just going to tell you thank you.
Thank you, God.
Father, we thank you right now tonight, God, for the bravery, God, of these ladies coming forth to give us their stories, God. Father, we thank you right now, Lord. So, Father, I pray right now, Lord, that you anoint them all afresh. Father, I pray for those that are in the chat tonight, God. I pray for those right now, Father, who are suffering through silent storms. I pray right now tonight, God, that someone will be reached, God. Father, I thank you, Lord, for those who are watching from other medias as YouTube and those who are watching from Facebook, God. I thank you
Yes.
right now tonight, God. I pray that some from TikTok has come over tonight, God. Father, I pray right now, Lord, that people will be reached. And I pray right now tonight, God, that folks will open up their hearts and their minds and their souls, God, to receive what's about to be said. God, we thank you right now, Lord. And Father, we give you praise. So, Father, we pray right now that you let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. For it's in the name of Jesus we pray. And let everyone that has breath say amen, amen, and amen.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Amen.
So much. So, like I
You're
said,
welcome, my
guys,
love.
we are here to talk about domestic violence. I have a few statistics, and let me get to my banners. Here we go. So, 1 out of 4 women experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and us three are three of 3 women that have. So, just know 1 out of 4. This is not uncommon. You know, people make domestic violence like it's only the shy women or the naive women or the women who you're just supposed to be abused, but it's all kind of women. It's women that had 2 parents, it's women that had 1 parent. My light went out, stop moving. It's women that even had a good life, that just loved, you know. Domestic violence doesn't have a picture, it doesn't have it just happens. I didn't want to be in domestic violence. And I personally was in domestic violence from 17 to 25. 17 to 25. And as I thought I made more banners. And as I was looking, it showed that there's 1,000 deaths every year due to domestic violence, y'all. 1,000 deaths due to domestic violence. Okay, Tara. I'm glad he's still with you. So yeah, it's 1,000 deaths. So just in that moment when I was looking at the statistics that I seen, I'm like, I personally thought I was by myself. I ain't gonna lie. I felt like, wow, it's a lot of women that really went through what I went through. It was a different way, but they feel me. And I always thought I was alone, man. I thought that I was just the stupid one. I was the one that was laying here at night scared to go to sleep. I thought I was the only one that got up in the morning and made breakfast for someone that tagged my head the night before. I thought I was the only one that felt like my love was more important than me. Me loving somebody else, me giving somebody else, all of me was more important than me. And in that, man, it messed up my whole life because I'm still trying to learn confidence. I'm still trying to learn who I am at my age now because I loved so hard back then. So it's a conversation for me, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do my story first, and then we'll go to mental you next, and then sis, you got it next. But the story, and like I said, I went through it from age 17 until 25. And I'm not going to go through all my stories, but the story that I am going to tell is that I just buried a guy that I had been with for 4.5 years. He shot himself, or he was shot in the room. Nobody ever knows. I was put on a polygraph test and tried like I shot him when he sent me outside to check on his pit bull. But somebody shot him with my 22. So after he was shot, I was lost because even though he was abusive, it was the abuse that I was used to. And I had been with him for 4.5 years, and he had left me in a crack house where they sold drugs. And it was all these men that sold drugs, and they all were, I guess, attracted to me, you want to say. They all had thoughts in their mind after we buried him. So I was scared. I was scared. So I ran next door. I didn't even go too far. I seen a party next door. I knew the neighbors. The dude that was coming, that they was having, it was a welcome home party. He just came home from the penitentiary. I'll never forget it. It was his party, and I came over because I was scared here. And I go over here, and I see him, and he likes me too. But it's one person versus 10. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shoot, it can't be no worse. Yeah, he just got out of the pen, but I got 10 men over here that's all looking at me when I wake up in the morning. I don't know. And I'm a victim of rape. So it's not that I was just scared over there. I can handle one guy. So long story short, I ended up getting with him, right? I got with him. We're staying in a hotel because he's just coming out of the penitentiary. So he's just sorry, MJ just hit that light, y'all. He's coming out of the penitentiary. So he's getting himself together, and I was helping him every day. I was working. He was not. And I was doing what I had to do. So one day, and he would always be the type of man that made me feel like he's never been loved like me. He's never had anybody to love him in this way. And he would say just the right things. He would always tell me, nobody's loved me like you. Nobody can treat me the way you have. Nobody takes care of me the way you do. So I just knew that, okay, yeah, I buried him and it was rough, but this one's going to be better. And so I was a couple of months in this thinking it was all good. And one day I was putting a perm in my hair. And I still to this day don't know why he changed on me, because he had never put his hands on me until this. And was putting a perm in my edges. You know how you'll just perm your edges because you want them to lay down good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I put this perm in my hair. It was a Dark and Lovely. Y'all remember those perms back in the day? Dark and Lovely. I used half of it. Got it in. I'm sitting down at the table. They're playing dominoes. Him and 2 or 3 of his homeboys was playing dominoes. And I don't know if it was a joke, but that man told me, you sit there and you don't move. So I sit there. About an hour, I started to get up. Like I had to wash it out, you know? He pulled out a 9mm, y'all. A 9mm, and said, do not move. And commenced to keep playing dominoes, but had that gun. I couldn't move. Sit there for 8 hours. I sit there a whole 8-hour shift with perm in my head. I don't have edges to this day. I remember his auntie, she always came when she got off work, and that's what I kept watching the clock, because I knew at about 5:30 she would come by. And as soon as she walked through that hotel door, I ran to the bathroom. I never told his auntie. I had this towel wrapped around my head when I came back in there because I had to serve dinner, and then I went to work. When I got to work, my scalp was burnt out. And when I met my husband now, Michael, I had just kept adding black gel. You know how we used the black gel back then? Mm-hmm. So I would just add it on because I was so scared of what was under there. And I remember sitting between his legs after meeting him and him just combing through, and it still burnt the same way it burnt that day.
Wow.
Eventually it just sort of numbed out. I don't have any hair. Good evening. I'm sorry, I'm not even looking at the chat. Good evening, JBH90. So yeah, that one right there for me, because he had never done it, and then he ended up attacking me again on Christmas Eve. But that one right there was probably the hardest one because it was so long. Because see, I could take a beating. I could take getting smacked down, choked up, thrown against the wall because it happens fast. But when you got to sit there for 8 hours, I'm talking about this was like 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning until his auntie came home from work. And this stuff was like burning. Like I felt like my brain it was just on fire. Like I would have rather for him to beat me. Wow, break some ribs. I do something that I can just be done and I can go on to work. Why do I have to? And then what makes me the most angry about it is I still have to live with it to this day. You know, and people want to say, oh, life, you're so beautiful. You just don't know. You don't know how I have to cover up and how I have to just hype myself up to get on this Life Love Blessings, to get on to tell people to command days, because my confidence was taken a long time ago. And I can speak over myself, and I have a great husband who tells me that I'm beautiful. Okay, baby. It's okay. He said he broke his foot.
So I'm gonna come and take him to the ER right fast.
But like, let's roll out. Like, really, because he's climbing my. I'm trying not to let that. Okay. So yeah, y'all. For me, I would rather get hit than for someone to torture me in that way, and that was torture. That was the worst. That was so much torture, because even when he did it at the hotel Christmas Eve night, it was just a slide. He just drugged me through the door. He stomped me a couple of times, hit me in my face 4 or 5. I'm black and blue, ribs is cracked. Then he's done. It was faster than to sit there and make me suffer the way you did. So you say, Life, why did you stay? Why did you get the other one at Christmas? Because I thought I could change him. I thought I could be of help. He just came out of the penitentiary. I had life. I had God. I knew who I was. But what I didn't know is that he was taking who I was away every step of the way. I never understood that. I never knew. I thought I had it. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was doing good. I love God. I'm always pushing. I've been here. I've been there. I'll help you. I understand institutionalized minds. I got you. We're going to do this one day at a time. We're going to turn to God. I'm talking to you. I'm feeding you. I'm giving you a side of the closet and showing you how to build your clothes up, getting your cologne back. It's all about you. And every moment that it was all about him, I was losing me. So that's the biggest thing that I want to give tonight, man. Never, never, ever think that you can help somebody and lose yourself, because that's what domestic violence is. You love so hard that you just lose everything about you, because that person is your safe place, even though you're not safe, but it's your safe place. Because a lot of times when you've been through domestic violence over and over and over, even though you're scared, you're safe. Mm-hmm. You know, I was telling my sister, I think I told Mel too, I think I told y'all both. Now to me, it's so crazy. I've been married for 20 years, but the best part of being married is when my husband comes to bed and lays his foot over my foot. It's the safest, most intimate feeling ever, because for one, he ain't going to make me have sex. If I don't want to have it, I don't have to. For two, he's not going to put his hands on me and he's not calling me out of my name. I'm genuinely safe. Like, I'm safe in his arms. I can't, y'all. And I want each one of you, both of my sisters, to feel it. Aunties felt it. I want y'all to experience it, because when you have laid with men and been scared and kept laying there for nights and nights, and to finally have that man that just gives you that peace, And everybody in the chat, I have one more thing I'm going to say. I was going to say this at the end, but I have to say it. Every man that beat me, every man that hurt me, always gave me butterflies. They always gave me some kind of feeling that I just couldn't be without them. I never felt a sense of peace or boredom or just, I was like, oh, yeah, let's do it. Oh. But when I met my husband, who I've been with for 20 years, I felt peace. I felt peace from day one, and I was scared of it. So don't be scared of what God has for you, because when it comes for you, it's peace. It's peace. It's peace. Y'all hear Milo?
Yeah. Milo or chicken.
Yeah, he's outside the door too. I'm getting it all. It's okay. Sit still, because if you go out, you're gonna start screaming. Stay right here, please. All right, sis. It's all yours.
Thanks for sharing. I know you shared some of your story with me, so thank you for that. Since I am an advocate of men's mental health, I also want to acknowledge that men experience domestic violence as well. And since we are in October and celebrating Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I do want to give some, well, as far as men, it's not as, as men, but 1 in 7 men do experience physical abuse from an intimate partner, abuse, mental abuse, and that could be man on man or woman on man. So I do want to acknowledge that as well, because experience domestic violence, I've seen it firsthand, and it was not a pretty sight. So I'll just tell a little bit about my story. So I first started to experience, well, the first hand of me experiencing domestic violence was at a young age, of course, because I saw my mom be abused. So I was exposed to domestic violence at a very young age. So I remember the first time being exposed to DV was when my mama was hit in the head with a car jack. And I'm not talking about the car jack that you have in the back of your car, like the little rinky dink ones. I'm talking about the ones that the mechanics use. Right? My exposure to domestic violence. And so she was hit in the head by a partner of hers, and she ended up in a hospital with 350 stitches in her head, almost killed her. So that was my first exposure to domestic violence, just as a child. But as a woman who has experienced itself, my first real relationship was about 28. I'm 40 now, but about 28. Why? Because for a long time I was scared of men. I've experienced a lot of abuse and just a lot of trauma in my life and throughout childhood. For a long time I was really scared of men, so I didn't get a first boyfriend until I was like 20 something years old, and that was my first domestic violence situation or relationship. And I don't want to go into too much detail, but I will say that it wasn't pleasant being with him. Some of the things that I did experience, he had a lot of issues. So I would say he had a lot of issues with his mom, right? So a lot of mommy issues. There was a broken relationship between his mom and his dad. And so they bought him in the middle. And so they blamed him for a lot of things, which was never his fault. So I feel like they, kind of gaslighted him into just basically taking responsibility for a lot of things. So he really felt that. And so every time he would be on the phone with his mom, it was just chaotic and it was just explosive. And so I remember one time I just got tired of it. So I was like, look, hang up the phone with her, come in a room, chill. And we didn't live together, but I would visit him. So come in a room and chill. And he said, don't you tell me. And I didn't say anything about his mom. He was like, don't you tell me anything about my mom. Don't talk about my mom. And I'm confused. I'm like, I never said anything about his mom. Like, I'm not going to disrespect your mom like that. He was like, don't say anything. This has nothing to do with you. But I could see the hurt and pain. And he would cry after he got off the phone with his mom. And I'm like, this is not what love is supposed to look like coming from your mom, right? And so literally got in my face. And I was a small thing at that time. And so he got in my face and I was like, get out of my face, right? So because I felt the hood New Orleans coming out. And I was like, get out of my face. And so he punched me. The first time he punched me in my eye. And I didn't know that he fractured my orbital. And I got up and I'm like, I'm big bad Billy. And I'm like, don't hit me, right? So then he hit me again and he punched me in my nose and broke my nose. And so I didn't even know he had like injured my eye. So I'm going to the bathroom, eyes shut, like I couldn't see, I couldn't open it. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I'm like, you hit me in my eye. And I'm ready to fight. I'm swinging. I'm like throwing stuff at him. And he's like pulling me. He was like, stop. So I'm like, take me to the hospital right now. So I go to the hospital. And he was like, okay, let's rehearse. What you gonna tell them? And so I had this whole rehearsal, like I fell and everything else. And so the doctor looking at me like, girl, stop lying, right? And so they go and they was like, I heard them outside the room. They was like, look, we got to call the cops, blah, 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 blah. And so like when I saw them, like, I guess the doctor went down the hall and I ran out the hospital, right? And I got into the car because I was like, I don't want him to go to jail. Like, you know, this guy has a good job. He just started his master's, so I don't want him to go to jail. So then, like, I went home, called my friend who was in med school at that time, and she was like, you need to go back to the hospital. And I was like, no. And I told her I fell. She was like, girl, you ain't fall. So that was the first time. And so I didn't leave because I was living with my cousin. And so my cousin was the type of woman that, like, if she met a man, she would like put me out of her house. So my boyfriend at the time was like, look, you ain't going back to her house. So it was like he was protecting me, but he was like abusing me at the same time. A couple of different instances that happened. So the second time, I've always been like a good writer. I was always a person that was involved in school. And so he knew this. And so he wanted me to help him with his paper. And I was like, no, I'm not helping you with your paper. I'll look over it. I'll proofread it. I'll make sure I'll give you some edits, things to that nature. But you have to write your own paper. He got mad and he had just gotten my hair braided. And, you know, going to those Africans, you know, they braid tight. So like I had just had braids. I think I had braids in my hair for 4 or 5 days. He literally, and I had it in like a bun and I had my little hair swinging because I had like the little, what's the braids, the little natural braids, and you had the little, it was curly on the end, and I thought I was the bomb, right? So he literally was like, you gonna help with my paper? So he literally took my hair and tossed me around the room, like he was like, because I was tiny at that time, and he was tossing me around the room, and he pulled out all my braids from like the middle. So I was walking around there looking like Elmer Fudd with like a whole circle of like hair missing, and you could see blood on the end of the braid, like the hair. So that was the second time, and I didn't leave. So the third time, the fourth, fifth, sixth time, threw me down 3 flights of stairs, pulled my arm out of socket, almost broke it, and the final straw. And there was a lot of things that happened in between. So I didn't leave at the time, and I would go to work bruised up, black eyes, like bruises all over, and I would like cover them up with makeup. That's when I started like wearing MAC, because MAC had the full coverage. So I would literally go to MAC to buy the $30-something makeup just to hide the cover, not to use it, but to cover it up because it had the full coverage. And so so one of my friends was like, girl, like, why you always wearing long sleeves? And, you know, I'm anemic, so I always wear long sleeves anyway. But she was like, you always wear long sleeves. And so I confided in her. I told her, she was like, you got to get out. So the final straw, and I had been like planning my exit. He even got me a car. He put the down payment on a car and everything. So brand new car, had a PC Cruiser. And so the final straw was when he got mad because he didn't want to eat leftovers, and I had just cooked the day before and I didn't feel good, and he didn't want to eat leftovers, and he sat on my head and I was knocked unconscious. No telling what he did. I woke up, and then the next day I said, forget this. I left. I ain't care whatever I could put in my car. I put in my car and I rolled out. I called the bank and I was like, come get this car. I was like, I don't want no ties to him. And so I left the car. I told him the keys was going to be in this certain place, and I got on a bus and I moved, and he was looking for me. Well, I I didn't get on a bus, excuse me. I went to a domestic violence shelter. So I met the police at the station, and then they picked me up, and you know, they got to take you to the state. They got to take you to the
Mm-hmm.
for yourself. So basically, so I missed the part. So basically, yeah. So I called them and I was like, hey, come get this car. But in the meantime, I was waiting on the police. So they came and got me. I stayed at the domestic violence shelter. And so, and then I was like, let me get myself together. So like, I was like, I gotta move. I want to like live a different life. So I moved to a different state, and I started my life fresh. Or so I thought. And then I met another guy. And at this point in my life, I was so confused. I was at a point to where like, I didn't know who I was as a woman. Like, I didn't have a relationship with my daddy. I didn't have a relationship with my mama. I did not like myself. I didn't love myself. When I looked in the mirror, I said, you ain't shit. You ain't never gonna be. Was my language, right? And so I things going on for me. And my cousin always reminded me, look, you're a descendant of Anna Copeland Hill, which is my great grandmother, and she's resilient. And so I always had this fight in me ever since I was a little girl. But I got into another situation with a cop. I dated a cop, and I had to run from him. I stayed in 7 domestic violence shelters, running from the cop.
Jesus.
7. And you know, all the time, like, and at this time I had got a brand new car. I was starting my life. I got a job. I had, you know, I was finishing school, my bachelor's and everything else. And so,
Excuse me.
him, like, I was like, I got to run from him. And so basically I was so scared of cops, because I'm like, what if he knows this cops who's escorting me to this shelter? So you got to go to the police station, and then you got to have a cop escort, because you can't go, like I said, you can't go to the shelter yourself. They got to escort you to make sure they're following you and to make sure that you're safe. So I ran from him to 7 different shelters until finally he got arrested. And he was arrested for like stalking and things of that nature, harassment. Had to put a restraining order against him. And I was like, I'm never going to be in this situation again. And so I never experienced DV, but I have experienced bad behavior from men. And basically, so I got out at that time. So I will say to people, make sure that you're healed. Make sure that you're in a great place with yourself, a loving and caring space with yourself before you get into any situation, or you're going to find yourself in a repetitive state of meeting men and women who are abusive, who gaslight you, who ghost you, who are not good for you. So I will say that make sure that you are 100%. And then I would say people are 100% healed, because I would say I don't believe in 100% healed. I think everybody's still working on some.
We always, right.
Yeah, or whatever the case may be. But I will say, don't be too fast to run into a situation just because somebody comes well oiled. That person, you know, man or woman, get to know that person, you know, spend some time on a phone video chatting before you meet that person in person if you're out of town, or even if you say you're in the same state. I'm the type of person that, like, even if you're in the same city with me, I meet you 30 miles away, because I don't want you knowing where I live at, or like, I don't want you to know where I'm hanging out. I don't want to even see you at Lowe's or Home Depot, right? I don't want to see you at Target. So I meet you far away. But I will say that, like, just make sure that you love yourself and take time for healing and self-care and love, because that's the most important thing that you could do for yourself. And if you see yellow flags, dark yellow flags from anybody, run. Because trust me, they're presenting this person that they're not, and you think you're getting, you know, Robert, but you're getting in 3 months Sam, and then in 6 months you're getting, like, you know, Dennis, and then somebody else, and then you're like, who am I dating? So like, if you see the first signs of like, right, you have that gut feeling, you're like, oh, trust me, listen to your gut, because it's not. That's all I gotta say.
So good. So good. You're right.
Thank
you have to listen to your gut, sis, because even in marriage, who you marry is not the same person in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So you change, and if it's changing for the worse, I never made it too long in domestic violence. People always show their color within the first 30 days for me. The longest I stayed with someone was 4.5 years, and he only abused me 2 times in those 4.5. But I know that I know that there's so many of us women that we end up just being out there looking for love, especially when, because for me, I was homeless. So you looking for anything, you looking just to be okay, you know? And so many times I feel like I should have just stayed under that bridge instead of going to this house or going over here because I would have saved myself. But you want to be normal too. You want to feel normal. You just want to be loved and approved. And so you find the wrong men to look for approval. And they approve you because you loving them like they ain't never been loved. Oh,
Yeah.
you giving them stuff that they ain't never, you buying Tide, you know, especially a man's coming out of the penitentiary. Oh
Mm,
yeah, they go, but you gotta understand, like sis was just saying, their minds is not ready for it. But
yeah.
back in 1994, I didn't know that. You know, I didn't know the mental side of it. I just thought I could change them.
Mm-hmm.
I could change them. Go with it, sis.
Yeah. Come on, sis.
Come on now. Woo.
My name is Shayla. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. At the age of 17, I'm going to start from the beginning, from the very beginning. I have to tell the complete story. From the age of 5 to the age of 17, I was being molested. I was living in the house with my father and his wife. His wife had 3 boys. At the age of 5, one of her sons climbed on top of me.
Mm.
I told my dad. My dad blamed me. Age of 5, I knew anything about sex. Nothing, period. I would lock my door. They would find ways to pick lock the door. So at the age of 17, I ended up running away. That's how I met my husband, my first husband.
Take your time.
It's okay, sis.
I want to say things was good for the first 2 years. After I had my second child, who is now 23 years old, I was laying in bed. I didn't know I was pregnant again or anything. This man took a hanger, a wire hanger,
Mm.
and burnt me up out of my sleep. At this time, I was a sophomore at Jackson State University. He made me quit going to school to stay at home. So I'm thinking about us being married, I'm doing the right thing. I'm cooking, cleaning, doing everything up under the sun. We end up having our twins. One of them did not make it because 2 nights before I went into labor, he burned me up out of my sleep again. He grabbed me by the throat. He picked me up, put me against the wall, my feet dangling in the air. I can barely breathe. At this time, I had a 2-year old, 3-year old, and a 4-year old. The phone was next to me in the kitchen. Only thing I can think of was to call his sister who stayed across the street. I called her thinking that she was gonna come and save me. She did nothing. She stood there. So when he went to work the next morning, I took upon myself to go to the hospital. I had to end up staying in the hospital for a week. He fractured 2 of my ribs. He literally almost crushed my vocal cord. That's how hard he was choking me. I ended up staying, didn't leave. Everybody in my family was telling me to leave. We gonna fast forward 2009. My husband a deacon in the church. I'm sitting on the front pew of the church. Girl next to me, 7 months pregnant. She's pregnant with my husband's baby. Still didn't leave. Get home that night. His aunt, his cousins, they're all staying in the house with us. His aunt set me down. She was like, "What is it gonna take for you to leave?" She's not. It's not getting any better. No matter what you do, no matter how much you show this man that you love him, it's not changing. She said, "I love my nephew." She said, "But I love you more." She said, "You have 4 kids. It's time to leave." She said, "If you don't, he's gonna kill you." She said, "But I just cannot sit back. Me and my daughters sit back and watch this." She said, "I'm leaving today." She said, "I can't do it no longer." Because that night, I got off of work from working a double at Walmart. I was a manager. I go to the bathroom to take me a bath. He literally comes in the bathroom, pick my underwear up. He sniffed them. He said, you've been sleeping with somebody at your job." And I'm like, how? How? How am I messing with somebody in my job? Why would I jeopardize my marriage for somebody that's making the same income that I'm making? It never dawned on me. So the next morning, I get up, take the kids to school. I didn't think anything about it because when I left the house, he was still in the bed. I come home, he's standing behind the door with a full loaded 9mm to my head. He told me, he said, "Today's gonna be your last day." I told him, "Fine." I stripped butt booty naked in the middle of the floor. "If you're gonna kill me, you're gonna kill me the way I came in the world. I'm just sorry." I told him, I said, "But one thing I do know, if you kill me, the kids will have neither one of us." One of my good friends so happened to end up coming over to pick me up for work. I had been covering up like mental said, covering up with makeup. I'm talking about packing it on. But she had been paying attention and I didn't know she was paying attention.
Mm.
She took me in the bathroom. She took all the makeup off. She was like, "Sis, you gotta do something. This not gonna get it." She said, "I'm gonna help you since you can't seem to leave by yourself." She said, "When I come pick you up for work every day, just put a bag by the door." She said, "If he don't pay attention, that you know that he's not interested in you." So every day I did that for a whole week. I took my vacation October the 7th through October the 12th. October the 11th, I got so many phone calls from a place that I had been applying for a job. Just so happened my mom was working at AT&T when the number came across the phone. I called my mom. I said, "Do you know this number?" She said, "Yes, I can look it up for you. It's the state hospital." She said, "Are you applying for a job?" I said, "I applied for a job a couple of months ago." She said, "Well, answer the phone." She said, "Because it got to be very important. If they called you that many times, this girl called me 450 times within my vacation time. I'm totally ignoring the phone calls, not picking up the phone." My mama said, "It's very important. Please answer. See what she has to say." So I answered the phone. She said, "Hello." I said, "Hello." She said, "Is this Miss Mahone?" I said, "Yes, it is." I said, "And who are you?" She said, "My name is Sandy." I said, "Well, hello, Miss Sandy." I said, "It got to be very important. You've been calling me for this long." She said, "Yeah." She said, "I'm calling to tell you I'm pregnant by your husband."
Mm.
She said, he said that he loves me and he loves you too. He just don't know how to leave you. I told her, I said, "Baby, I don't share. I don't share anything." I told her, I said, "If he wants you, he can have you." I said, because from this day forward, he's no longer my husband. He's yours. I said, because any man that can lay down with another woman, knowing he has a wife and a family at home, he's not mine.
Mm.
So when he came home, I told him, I said, your mistress just called. When I say he hit me so hard, it knocked the wind out of me. That was the first time he ever hit me in front of my kids. And that was the last straw. That was the last straw. I called the police. I had to get extradited from here to a whole nother state. If this man come within 200 feet of me, he has to serve 15 years in prison because I made a paper trail. Most women don't make a paper trail.
Oh.
So I'm saying this to say this. At the first sight, if it doesn't look good, doesn't feel like it's love, please get out. I stayed away from my husband for over 10 years before I even got in another relationship and got remarried. I told Life and Auntie Evie this story. I'm just recently leaving my new to be husband in June of this year.
Right.
When I say it started off so sweet, but what it goes back. They say you never know a person until you start living with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we first started dating, I was staying in my own apartment. We would just hook up, go places, go out to eat.
Sis, 1 second. Let me just speak. There's some new people. Hey, girly. Hey, sis. Hey, underground. Hey, sis. I just wanted to acknowledge everybody that's in here. Hello,
Yeah,
everybody. I hope you're enjoying.
I've been calling the cavalry while y'all been talking. That's what I've been
Thank
doing.
you. Thank you. I'm seeing people. Yeah. And I just didn't want to not acknowledge. I thank you for joining us. This is Life, Love, Blessings. We are talking about domestic violence. Again, thank you. And just continue to listen. Go ahead, sis.
So we moved into a house a week before my birthday. My birthday is May the 11th. And just so happened a few weeks before that, I stumbled across Miss Evie in Life. And I tell them all the time I love them. It wasn't on purpose. Because as soon as we moved into this house, I saw a change.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting called bitches on a daily basis. I don't know where the change came in. I don't know what made him change. I don't know what I did wrong because I was doing everything that I could do as a wife. I got called the scum beneath his feet. And my kids was there. And my youngest baby is 20. He came to me. He was like, Mom, why didn't you say anything back? I told him, I said, it's not what a person call you, it's what you respond to. If it doesn't apply to you, you don't respond.
Hmm.
So he was like, no, you, you're not that. You're the perfect wife. You're the perfect mother. You go out your way to help anybody. You'll give a person the shirt off your back.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm laying in bed that night. He literally choked me. He choked me, picked me up, and the only thing I did was see a flashback from when my feet was dangling when my husband did it, my first husband. I told him, I said, please let me go, because this is not what we're finna do.
Hmm.
This is not what we're finna do. So I went into my office and locked myself in my office. I had brought a gun, a handgun, because I had already told myself I wasn't finna go through this again. I wasn't. So I took upon myself, I loaded it, and I set it in between the crevices of the mouse and the keyboard. He walked in the door. He was like, you gonna listen. You gonna do whatever the fuck I tell you to do. You're not going to continue to walk away. You're just going to stay here and take this beating.
Mhm.
So before I knew it, I just took the gun and I cocked it.
Mm.
I told him, I said, please don't come near me. I said, because I've lived through this my whole entire life. I said, I was a victim of molestation in my dad's house. I ran from that to a man who literally beat me for 19 years. And I said, here it is, going to be displayed again in a marriage. I can't do it. So I called my best friend, who is a guy. We've been best friends for a long time. Grew up with him. And he was like, you need to leave. He said, I'm going to help you get out. He said, Sunday is the day. And I took it as a joke. I took it as a joke. I didn't sleep back in the bed with this man. Me and him sleeping in total different rooms. I'm sleeping in my den just to make sure I'm nowhere near him so he won't have a chance to do anything to me. Sunday morning, I get a phone call. Said, go to the door. It's my mom. I never involve my mom in anything that's going on until I know that I'm ready. I'm fully ready to leave. She told me, said, today, get everything that you can fit in my van. This the last day you'll be back. You're not coming back. So I tell everybody, be aware of the signs. Please be aware. They say verbal and mental abuse don't hurt. It hurts. It hurt worse than a person actually putting their hands on you. Because when I left my second husband, I had to talk to Miss Life so much. She's the only person who built me back up where I'm able to stand on my own 2 feet. It's real out here, women and men. Men don't talk about it. Y'all have to speak up. Please speak up. Because I'm fighting it again. My nephew is a victim of domestic violence. His life was taken Wednesday at the hands of his baby mama.
Oh my God.
So it is real. I'm telling y'all, please, if you can get out, please get out. I'm begging you all, please. It's not healthy. It's not worth it. Your life is yours.
Mhm.
Can't nobody tell your story better than you can tell it yourself.
I remember my first husband. We had a house, and he always made me have sex every night. This man would make me give him anal, not anal, I'm sorry. He would literally make me suck his penis through a whole football game. So this particular night, he wanted to have anal sex, and I just didn't want to. I'll roll over. I know how to make myself have sex, but anal sex, I just didn't like. And if you don't like the person, it really is painful.
Yeah.
But I never knew that the other pain that he could bring would be bad. So I wouldn't do it, and I rolled over like a big dummy. I rolled over on my stomach and started watching Family Feud. I'll never forget it. You know how you roll over and you'll just focus on something? Guys, he put a vice grip up my butt, and I could feel it as it was jerking the meat and everything as it was coming out. I ended up having 10 stitches on the inside and 8 on the out. So he took me to the hospital. He lets me come back. I'm healing now. I'm healing upstairs. He's bringing me food because this is my husband. He's bringing me food. He's doing this. But he told me, don't go downstairs. He said, whatever you do, don't come downstairs. I thought because I was hurt, he wanted me to be careful. He didn't want me to fall. But one day I heard something downstairs, and I was healed pretty good that I could make it down those steps. And I went downstairs, y'all. So I go downstairs and I see this lady there, and she's having a seizure. But I don't only see her having a seizure, I see my seizure medicine with my name, Denise Austin, on the pills. Now, my pills always came up missing, but he would always say that he gave them to a friend of his.
Mm-hmm.
So I helped the lady come out of the seizure. Of course, when she comes out of the seizure, she's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Who are you?" So I tell her I'm Steve's wife. I didn't mean to say his name. I'm so sorry. I was trying not to say any names. I'm so mad. I said his name. And then she made me go get my license. So I showed her who I was. I was Denise Austin at that time on my license, right? So she was just like, I can't believe he's doing this. He told me that you were a homeboy's girlfriend that was left, and he was just helping you. I've been seeing you. I've been hearing about you. I've been married for over 6 months, 7 months, right? So in that moment, I was scared, but I think she either fell out or she went into a seizure, but I had to call the ambulance. And when the ambulance got there, the only thing that came in my mind was, you better leave with him, because when he comes back, he's going to do something to you. When the ambulance got there, I remember telling the ambulance, "Hey, this is my husband's mistress, girlfriend, but I'm scared for my life." So I got put in one of the shelters. But one thing about domestic violence shelters, if you don't have any children, they're not going to help you long. And I didn't have any children. So I would always get put in there for maybe 24 hours, 72 at the most, and then you would have to leave. So I knew I would have to leave, and he found me. So I went back with him again and again, and we kept going through the different abuse. It took him to put a gun to my head and tell me, "I married you for your credit. I married you because you had good credit." He had 8 cars in my name. He had put a house. He had put everything that he had in my name with my credit. Of course, my credit was totally gone at the time. And he put a gun in. He told me to leave. Now, when he told me to leave, y'all had nowhere to go. I had nowhere to go. So I asked him, like, please just let me be your friend. Like, give me a roof. And he just wouldn't. And I remember just telling him to kill me because I didn't have nobody. Mm-hmm. And I was going to just go out here and be raped again and be whatever. So why don't you kill me? But of course, he didn't kill me. I lived in the streets. I kept living in the streets. I found jobs. I did what I had to do. But I always found the same kind of man over and over. It was like once I found that husband or that man, and he didn't divorce me until 2001, and I married Michael in 2002. Because my mother would not let me divorce without getting him to junk titles on all those cars. Because, if you have that many cars in your name, every time you go buy a vehicle, you got to pay taxes on all those cars. And my mother was just like, he's not going to do that to you. So she was real stickler on that. So he divorced me in 2001. And it was crazy when he did finally sign the divorce papers. And I told him I was going to get married. He asked if he could come to my wedding. Like, men are... You beat me. You put a guns and you did all that to me. And you think that my new husband even wants to see you? Do you understand that I've told him stories? And if you show up anywhere around me, I won't have this second husband because it's going to be something. So why would you? And then I remember about maybe 2-3 years ago, y'all, maybe it was like 2018. He called me again. He found me on Facebook. And this thing of you just being mine forever, why do men feel that way? He says, he was an apostolic preacher. So he said in the Bible that, your first marriage is forever in God's eyes, basically. And that's what he would always tell me. Like, you only can be married to one. You only have one person. But what I learned after that and what I've learned now is you only have one soulmate. You only have one person that God chooses for you. You can get out here and let the devil choose all many times as you want, but you only have that one that's chosen by God. Oh, I'm not even looking at the car. I'm really talking to y'all. Let me see.
Can I say something? That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
What'd you say, sis?
I said I don't know if Evie needs to speak, but I wanted to say something. Fast. If that's okay.
Yes.
I think it's important as women. Because I'm a woman, I'm not a man, but I do advocate for men. But I think it's important when people situations that we put ourselves in. you know, single. I've never been married. I don't have any kids. And so, around this time, I'm a fall person. I love Christmas. Christmas is my favorite holiday, and I love the smell of pumpkin. I love, like, just like fall, like the leaves. It's so refreshing. And then you look at it, you want to share, these memories with yeah, that one person, that one man. You want to build traditions, with that one person, and every year, they say, oh yeah, maybe this is the year I'll find my person. And I thought I found my person, but then again, people laugh at me because I'm a runner, right? Run from situations. And the reason why that because I do not tolerate bad behavior from men at all. Like, I literally do not tolerate bad behavior. And I try to give, as women, we want to save men. We want to give them an opportunity. Oh, maybe they'll get better. Maybe they were just having a bad day yesterday, but that bad day turns into two bad days, 3 bad days, and they start to become abusive verbally and mentally,
Mm-hmm.
like that life. And then it evolves into physical. And sometimes it doesn't even involve to physical. Sometimes it's just verbal, and verbal, like you said,
Right.
it hurts more. But I'd rather be by myself than to tolerate. And I know God has somebody for me. And I'm not just waiting. I'm out there, putting myself out there as well, but I'm putting myself out there in healthy situations. But this time you get lonely. And so you're like, oh my gosh, like, I wish I could wear my magic PJ and that nature and all this other stuff. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm okay with myself. But you know what? I think that everybody should be in a point to where, like, you're fine with spending time with yourself. Like, I enjoy spending time by myself. I enjoy sitting on the sofa and watching Lifetime movies and America's Most Wanted. I'm okay with my own company. And I think a lot of people are not okay with that. And that's why they find themselves in situation after situation after situation,
Mm-hmm.
relationship after relationship. They end a relationship on Friday and then another one on Monday. You have to take time for yourself. And if you can't enjoy spending time for yourself with yourself, then that's another different issue within itself, right? So I enjoy those moments. I enjoy laying, coming in my office and writing and reading and things of that nature. So I just wanted to say that, like, enjoy moments by yourself. And if you can't create happiness within yourself, and you're looking for happiness from someone else, you're not ready to be in a situation or a relationship.
So true, sis. And that's why I think that I was in domestic violence, because I wasn't happy. I didn't have that space to get to know myself. I didn't have that safe space. I didn't have, shoot, I was homeless. So, I mean, I'm going to do what you do.
Yeah.
As a woman, you don't have to be homeless. You got something between your legs that will always set you straight, but you don't know what you're going to get yourself into.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And that's what I learned. A lot of times I'm thinking, a couple of times that I was raped, I thought I was just going to be able to go in there, take a shower, throw on some cute little jammies that I got at the Dollar General store, and just be safe for that night on his couch.
Yeah.
You said that's what you was going to do for me. Why did you have to come and meet me in the bathroom and jab your stuff in me while I thought I was safe? So then what do? Do I stay here where you're going to just push sex on me, or don't I live it out in the streets? I'll just take this. This ain't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and let you do what you want to do, because I have no choice. I felt I didn't have a choice. I didn't love me. I'm learning all that now, but shoot, this is 1990s. You didn't have the internet. You
Yeah.
didn't have nothing but some encyclopedias. And when you homeless, you can't walk around with encyclopedias. I didn't have you know what I'm saying? I was just
The
out there.
yellow is.
Now I don't see why any woman would ever be caught up, because there's too much knowledge, too much information out here. People are sharing their stories. It's all about choices that you make now. But
Mm-hmm.
back in mine and Shayla's days, like, we didn't have that, and we didn't
Yeah.
have them parents we was running from that. So if you running from home and you out here, like, yeah,
I agree.
Auntie, go ahead and tell us something.
Yes.
Well, ladies, I'm gonna have to applaud you for all of your bravery on tonight. because that takes a lot of guts. Let's just call it what it is for
Mhm.
you to come on this and talk in front of us about your situations. I can say, thank God, I haven't been in a situation of that manner. I was married for 33 years. So I thank God I've never, you know, had a situation that, volatile like that.
Mhm.
But I'm glad you talked about it because the more and more, I'm looking at stories just like the one I sent you, Life. Did you see that? Now
Yes.
that right there
Yeah.
made it felt like all my hairs were standing.
She went to
You
walk her
know,
dog, guys. Like
yeah,
she was chilling with him,
Mhm.
and
he
she
was
went to
outside.
walk she went to walk her dog, and she thought he was coming to walk the dog with her, just to be with her. And the dude shot her not 5 times but 10 times, and shot her dog, which was like her son.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
And she
yeah.
had gunshots in her
Ooh,
fingers where she
yeah,
was trying to dodge herself, and there
yeah,
was
yeah.
Wow.
bullets here. She still got 2 bullets in her. Like,
Where is this at?
I'll send
It's
it to you.
on.
It's on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and she actually showed the pictures that it's saying, that she put trigger on, let people know. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, girl, her finger looked like somebody just tried to cut it off from the bullets that
Wow.
hit her. I mean, her fingers like destroyed right up in this area.
When
I
I was
mean,
looking at it, I was
the
just like,
pictures is
God, you
like,
killed me.
My
You
God.
killed me,
oh my
man. That
God.
could have happened
And
to me
the first place he shot her was in her back.
in her back.
And
And she
she
said
turned
she
around and
turned
she looked
around
at
and
him
looked at
like,
him to see if that was really him shooting her in her back. She
yeah,
looked. And that's when she starts covering herself because she don't want to get shot in her face. So then,
Wow.
yeah, that's why she got on her hands.
y'all,
I mean,
it
they had to
was
put a
30.
tube in
You're
her.
right, sis. It was 30 times, Auntie.
It was
Statistics,
30.
30
Okay.
times.
He shot at her or shot her 30 times?
30 times since he
Are you
shot her.
serious?
And
Yeah.
she still had like two
She
or three bullets in her.
She's alive?
Ooh,
Yeah,
she
she's still
she
living.
alive.
got
Oh,
shot back
wow.
here. He got,
Mhm.
Yes.
I know she had a tube. They showed the x-ray of the tube which they had to put inside of her because she
Yeah.
got shot up in that area. So they put a tube inside of her. Her
Yeah.
fingers, oh my God. If I wasn't looking at it, I would thought it was something on television. But that girl finger is like, it's just, somebody just went and just, and it's blown apart right up in this area from her defense wounds. And I'm like, oh my God, is this real? I mean, what human being does this to another human being? And I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and I'm going like, what? Why are you utilizing these people as punching bags and target practice? And I mean, why? Why how can a human being have that much hate in them to do this to another human being? I just don't get this. And I guess it all has to come back to them having whatever issues they had in
Right.
their own personal lives.
Right.
Because being a minister of the gospel, that's why I've noticed lately. The first question I ask when a person is the way they are is 2 words. What happened? What happened? Something had to happen in their lives for
Mhm.
you to come and try to destroy, because that's basically what you're doing. You're trying to destroy
Mhm.
another human being.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God. And I was watching stories on the ID channel where this same woman, I mean, not the same woman, but another woman was dealing with this man. He just literally wanted to just kill her. Thank God she survived. And then come to find out, somewhere in another state, this same man tried to do the same thing with another woman. The
Mhm.
two of them did finally meet up with each other on the show, and they just hugged. That's all they could do. They just hugged each other. They just stood there. And now, they stay in contact with each other. But the second woman that they showed in this program, she came home one day and where she just couldn't take it anymore. So she came home, she nailed all the windows, changed all the locks. She even went and got a firearm. And do you know this joker still got in the house? He still kept coming in the house. One day she went home and she was getting ready. I think she was getting ready. She was just going, I don't know if she was moving or what she was getting ready to do, but she got home. He was in the house. So he came that day specifically. He left a note on her bed telling her, I'm coming to kill you. That's the note he left on her bedroom bed. He had a note. I'm coming today. I'm coming to kill you. She came in. She went to flip the switch. The lights wouldn't come on. So you done came and messed with the electricity in the house. So the next thing she know, he comes out downstairs and he got a knife and he just starts stabbing her with the knife. And she's telling her, you know, because at one point he told her, because one day he just threw on the couch and just raped and told him that he was her God. She told him why he was stabbing. She said one thing. She said, "I'm gonna tell you, you'll never be my God." Because she said if he was gonna die, that's the last thing she was gonna tell him. Well, he stopped. So she wondered where her daughter was because she was looking for her daughter. Come to find, she felt she I think she collapsed and he left. Well, so when she woke up, she was in the hospital. So she kept asking for a daughter. She had a right here. He cut her on her neck, cut her back here, and they had to put a stitch right here. And she had one stitch, and she had to be careful because if she were to, you know, get scream or whatever, it would have blown it apart.
Mm.
She kept asking about her daughter. Finally, they told her. So the doctor, what he did, he put his hand right here. They found her daughter upstairs. He had put duct tape on her face and beat her to death.
Mm.
And that was before he got a hold of her. And she said, can you imagine wanting to scream and can't because you got one stitch holding
Mm.
this area right here? And that's why the doctor put his hand on her neck like this, just in case she did. And you could, I mean, it just, I was like, oh my God. But yeah, he duct tape her daughter's face, duct tape her hands, and beat her to death.
Wow.
She was, I think she was, oh, was she 19, 20, I think?
I thought she was
Yeah,
20. I remember
I think she
20.
was 20. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he came to kill him. That's what he came there for. But
Mm.
she just happened to be home first before her mama got home.
Mm-mm.
And
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, how can somebody, I'm, it's like, I wonder, do people realize that you're creating monsters? Because that's what you're doing.
Mm.
Whatever it is that they went through before they came to whoever, you're creating a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else is going to be in the path of that wrath. Because whatever it is that they put them through, somebody else is going to bear, is going to suffer
Yes.
for that.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize when you do these things that you're putting someone else in the future in harm's way.
Mm.
And it's just crazy to me. You know, I watch this stuff and I'm like, oh my God. And I say, well, Lord, I thank you for those that have survived and still here to tell the story. And just like these women have said tonight, listen, there's a number right there at the bottom of the screen. If you know somebody, or if it's you yourself, please, please call this number. Or if it's somebody you know that can help you, please get help. Don't stay there like that. You're literally setting yourself up to die
Yeah.
because everybody, you have people right now today that are not here. You'll never hear their story. Never hear their story. They're
And
not here.
even
They
though it
never.
seems like they won't do it, if you see any little sign, you just don't know what they're capable of doing. Even though it
Exactly.
seems like that they just they don't look like they'll do that to me. It can be one of the perfect days to where you're on a date. You're taking a picnic and that nigga will knock your head off. And you would think that you just your nails done, your hair's done. This is just that perfect moment. And you'd be like, well, what happened? Y'all know that song Lauryn Hill got out? The old song where I can't think of the name. I was trying to say it, but it's like no matter what you do, it's always something wrong. And you don't think it. You like, no, today I did good. Like, you like, yeah, I did good today. I fed you. I did this. We're going to go outside and and you come back and you are smacked and beat. And so if you are ever, if you've been involved in that, I don't know who's in here. We got 11 people watching and I see 2 or 3 that's actually chatting with me. But if you are here and you're not letting us know you're here, like Auntie said, there is a number. I'll have my email. My ultimate goal is to help anybody that just needs, because you can be safe. You don't have to stay where you at. There is a
No,
way out. There is a
no.
way out. Even if you got to do like my sister and put a bag out every day, there's a plan that can be made. And we got women, these 3 I know right here, these 3 with me, we'll work with you every day, baby. We'll get you out of there.
That's
We'll
right.
get you somewhere safe.
Yeah.
So if there is anybody watching right now, Life Love Blessings, that needs help, please reach out to me and we will always keep it confidential, but we will get you safe.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yeah.
get you
And,
safe.
and notice, domestic violence, it doesn't care what your social economical status is. You
Mm,
can have the biggest house on the hill
right,
or live in the shack downtown somewhere. It don't
right,
care.
Yep.
It
right.
don't care. So if you, like I said, please, if you just like something as simple as you're on a date, you're not even married, you're not even engaged, but then this person is putting hands on you already. What do
Mm-hmm.
you think is going to be the future?
Mm-hmm.
That is the red flag. That's the bells. That's the whistles that are
Yes.
going off right there. Because once you give them access and you accept it, all you did was wrote your funeral. That's
They
basically
think
what you
they got
did.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Oh, I
think
can
they
do
got
it.
you.
Oh, she all
Yeah, I
right.
can
She
do
let me
whatever. She
slap her
gonna
the
do.
first time. So I'm gonna go and I can do it again and again
They
and
all
again.
say I never do it again. I promise I ain't gonna do it no
I'll
more.
never touch you again. I
Uh-uh.
love you,
Oh,
baby.
I
I
love
didn't
you.
mean.
Oh,
I
I
love
can
you.
do that. Nah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And little things. And I know this is so small, but like it's so big to me. Like little things that people do contributes to like larger things in a future. So, and like I said, I know this is small, but I met a guy, this is like last year sometime, and I met a guy and like I stopped talking to him because he was late, always late. Like he would lie and say, oh, like the first time I was like, okay, he in traffic because he was like, I'm around the corner. And I'm like, okay, around the corner, well, because like that was like a whole 45 minutes ago. And I know he was big and they got a lot of traffic, but you were around the corner. So you should be here like 2 minutes. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt the first time. I was like, Houston traffic. So the second time we were supposed to meet, he was late again, an hour. So I said, you know what? I'm done, son. I can't. Like, you
Mm,
lie. Like, you are a liar. Like, you are a liar. So I ain't talked to him for like a good 2 months. He reaches out. And so he's like, hey, I'm sorry. this thing's been going on. I'm like, okay, no excuses, whatever. Like, thank you, but nice meeting you, but like, save that for somebody else because I ain't it. So then if he reaches out, let's meet. I just want to apologize in person. I'm like, I'm out. Okay, I'm going out anyway. Hey, meet me here. Dude, late again. I'm like,
Mhm.
Wow.
a whole hour. And I'm like, you know what? I can't. I said, I blocked his number. I said, let me tell you something. Don't you ever in your life reach out to me because I'm like, you have horrible character traits that I do like in men. I say you are a liar. You have no morals and you have no respect, right?
Yes.
And so for me, that may be okay for some women, but for me that's not because you lied 3 times in a row. You have bad behavior, and bad behavior leads to other things, and I'm not at all. And
Yeah.
like, and I'm just giving an example, but those are like little small things that create bigger things,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to
Mhm.
other things that you try to get away from, and you're like, my oh my gosh, why didn't I get away the first and second time I saw these? And these are like, for me, those are flags, dark yellow flags
Yeah.
that turn
Yeah.
into.
And as you're speaking again, I didn't get to make those choices. But if you get those choices, I think that to think like that is amazing, sis, because
Mm-hmm.
I just was taught to be a ride or die. I was just taught that whoever said they wanted me, they wanted me. I
Yeah.
never got the choice to be choosy. You know, I never
That
got to be
part.
choosy. I never got to think about me. And oh wait, you're late. I ain't never thought of that one. Oh, you just late. We're gonna have to work on that and figure out how to make you on time. That was just my mentality. So for you to be, man, I just wish
I
I
wish
don't
I
wish
had your
nothing,
mindset,
but
man.
I wish I'd have had it back then because I didn't have, I was just lost and I never even thought like that.
Is that harsh though? Like, you guys
No,
understand
it's
what?
not
No,
harsh. It's
it's
not
not.
harsh at
I'm
all.
glad you
It's
think
not.
like that. I'm
No,
so
but
glad
that,
you
but
think
like
like
you
that because
said,
it brings
mental,
reality
that
from
that's a sign
Mm-hmm.
because it's stuff, it's the little teeny things we
Mm-hmm.
don't pay attention to
Mm-hmm.
because they figure that, oh, okay, yeah, they all right, they late, whatever. Second
Right.
time, you late again, well, you got to do better. So you're not thinking because, but here it is, you getting
Real bad.
We're wheeled in.
reeled in, okay?
Yeah.
And then the next thing
Yeah.
you know, you finally do it. All right, gotcha. So now it begins. So now
Mm-hmm.
I can go ahead with the rest of whatever my plan is for you.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And then now you other little things start coming into play. And other little things start coming into play. And those are the things you have to be cognizant of, you know. And it's just so sad. But I pray that those predators that are like that God will do something with their mindset, that He would just strip them of all of that anger and that hate and could fix the root problem, whatever it is that made you this way. Because apparently you was never this way. You had to go through some type of whatever for you to get to this capacity. So I pray that whatever it is that has scarred them, injured them, whatever, they probably been through their own domestic violence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
will fix them,
Right.
and I pray God will touch them and I pray their ears are open that they will hear before they go out and do whatever it is that they may do to someone else, that they won't harm anybody else. Because truth be told, they're victims too.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, people be like, oh, yeah, you got to remember, everybody came here on this planet innocent. Okay, even though the Bible tells us we are born in sin, shaped in iniquity. You have to remember, you live a life that different things, chain reactions, episodes happen during your life. And
Mm-hmm.
these things become a part of you. So if you grew up as a child and you had parents that treated you like an animal, locked you away in the cellar. You couldn't come outside. All of that stuff begins to create a monster.
Yes.
Okay. You getting ready to unleash somebody on an innocent soul. And they've been through their own violence, their own domestic violence. So now they grow up and now they go out, be CEOs, presidents, 6-figure earners, dress well, nice apartment, all of that. But unfortunately, deep down inside, there's a hidden secret that no one knows until somebody comes into the path. And now I'm getting ready to inflict all of this pain, this suffering, and everything that I've been through. You're getting ready to go through. And people, I mean, it's just so scary. And it's like, you kind of scared of like, do I want to go out there again? Because I don't know who I'm getting ready to deal with. I mean, this person looks nice, they like they're cool, they look like they're all right, but are they really all right?
Hey, I'm 20 years in and still waiting to get hit. I'm
Wow.
20 years in a marriage and still waiting. And he'll tell me, because I still don't communicate. I still don't give my feelings. I still don't tell you what I think, because when I would tell anybody what I thought, I'd get smacked. Even if I roll my eyes, even if I move my body in a different way.
Wow.
So when my husband talks to me, I stand like this. Right to this day. I'm trying to learn it. I didn't realize it came from domestic. I didn't realize it came from being a child that didn't get to talk. But this is how I am, a grown ass woman with 2 kids, a full-time job, a life, love, blessings, on everywhere, commanding the day. But when their husband talk to them,
this is where you are.
Yeah.
So
but you
that
know what,
makes
life?
them
Think about it like this. You come a long way.
Yes.
What has happened to all of you was not done overnight. So guess what? It ain't gonna be done. It's not gonna be healing. Is not gonna take place overnight.
And you have
This
to
is
know
going to
that.
be a lifetime of healing.
But
That's
God
what
has
this
a
is gonna
man
be.
that is anointed to carry all your baggage. That's what I have to tell you. There is a man. There's a man for you. There's a man for you. And there is a man. I have mine. He's anointed, y'all. He can carry everything you went through. He already knows. Like my husband, I know God picked him for me.
Amen.
There's no way he would still be here.
Exactly.
With the
Because he was
craziness.
built. He was
I'm
built
sorry.
especially for you.
JBH said, as a young woman, I wish I had that type of thinking. JBH, that's JBH 90. That's why we have this live right now, so that you can hear how to think, so you don't make the same mistakes that we made. You know,
Exactly.
and what Menno's saying, what my sister Meg said, you need to listen to that. You need, if a man is late, that's something serious, because that's his character. You know, you need to listen to younger women that are telling you different things about men. It's not being petty. It's not being bougie. It's being about you. You are the most important. You are the most important. It's not about them. See, where I come from, I'm born in the 70s, so it was all the man, the man, the man. But it's a whole different way, and I wish that I had experienced it more earlier. Now I'm seeing it, but I'm in a marriage now. I don't have to really worry now. I'm just learning how to help others, and that's why I give my story and I show how naive I was and how lost I was, so that you as a young woman won't even have to be there.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not happy at home, don't go looking for a man. Even if you don't hear "I love you" from your mom and daddy, don't go look for it in a man. Don't look for it in yourself. Love you and love God, and He has the plan. But don't look for it in a man. Don't look for it in a man. Beverly C said generational curses all day long, Beverly.
Yes.
Yep.
It's time to break those generational curses. We have we can't be 40 years old talking about generational curses. Like we cannot.
Right.
Like it's at the point in your life you have to start saying, you know, enough is enough. I'm not like I can't. Like I looked at my mom at a very young age and said, I don't never want to be like this. Like I don't want to be on the street selling my body to men, um, having my kids witness me turning tricks, you know, at 7 years old. And I was like, I never want to be like, I made a decision from like a young age that I never wanted to be like my mom and her mom, because her mom did it to her. So I was the one that broke those generational curses. But we can't be 40, 50, 30 years old talking about generational curses. At some point in our life, we have to start taking accountability and start saying enough is enough. I am not going to accept this behavior anymore.
Right. You're
But
so
you know
right.
what, Mental?
Yes,
What's
ma'am.
going to happen? Somebody, the light bulb has to go off.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if the light bulb is not going off, and it's like, you know, and I'm going to tell you about myself. Now, I went through emotional abuse with my father. Okay.
Yeah.
It was so bad. They can tell you because they done heard me told the story. I'm a grown woman, married, 2 children, our own house. When my father would come over, I would leave my own house. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
I just could not be in the same space with him.
Yeah.
And then one day I thought about it, I said, you know what? You're not gonna do my daughters like you did me.
Hmm.
Boom. That's where I killed it right there.
Mhm.
Because I refuse to let my daughters keep going through and letting him saying all kinds of stuff like I did for me. This is where the light bulb went off.
Mhm.
Okay. So I killed it with me. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Right.
And see, and that's the thing. Somebody got to recognize, hey, this ain't right.
Yeah.
The moment they recognize it, boom,
Yeah.
that's where it'll die right there. It
Yep.
won't go any further.
Yeah.
And this is now, it's time to educate. And you'll be surprised right now, what you just said, Mental. You'll be surprised. Some people right now, up in the even 60s and 70s, still doing the
Yeah.
same thing that happened back when their parents was doing whatever.
Right.
And a lot of people get mad with that, but guess what? You got to realize every generation evolves, okay?
Yes.
They only knew what they were taught.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, listen, you listen to your husband, you stay with your husband because he's your husband, and you do what your husband say. That's it. That's
Right.
all they knew.
Yeah.
So now here you grow up and you got a daughter, and now you passing on the same thing. You know, you listen to your husband, you stay with your husband, whatever. But what if your husband beating the hell out you?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to still stay with him then?
No, ma'am.
Oh, it's okay. You know what? But you must be did something. Now here come the excuses, not for you, but for him.
Yeah.
Okay. So now one day the next generation comes along and they seeing what's going on. And guess what? Boom, the light bulb. Wait a minute. This not the I've never seen, you watching love stories and you see other people, and it's like, well, why my house don't look like that? So
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. So now you make the vow that I'm not gonna when I get married, my life is not gonna be like this. So
Right.
now you've broken what has come down the timeline. And now guess what? Now you start off the new generation after you, and you teach them how to be in a marriage and how you love each other, and you be the example. And my baby daughter always tells me this all the time. She said, Mama, I thank God for you and Dad because y'all ain't never been like that. And I said, God, I thank you. To God be the glory. 33 years.
Amen.
Of course, it's marriage, just like anything else. You two separate entities trying to deal with each other. It's just like it's just like an earthquake. Them two bubonic plates start going like this, and yeah, you're gonna have a little whatever. But guess what? When they level out like this, you good.
Mm-hmm.
But somewhere down the line, somebody got to look at this thing and say, wait a minute, this ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't right. Something ain't right about this picture. And that's when it'll get broken. but
Yeah.
you can't turn a blind eye and like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's them across the street. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I told them the other day I saw a TikTok where this lady, what you call it? Camera, doorbell camera. I thought it was in the house because it was so loud. It was coming from across the street from the house where this mother and her daughter was running. And the neighbor where the door camera was told, come in, y'all come in here. Now this woman screaming and hollering in the street. Do you know nobody else came out their house?
Wow.
Wow.
Nobody. This woman with the doorbell camera who was catching all of this, she told me, come on, come in. You know, she came to come in their house. She said, my son is still in there. My son is still in there. Husband done lost his mind over there. But needless to say, they got the husband and they got the son. So he's behind bars. Now, what if that woman didn't get them in her? What could have happened?
Exactly.
Exactly.
It could have been a homicide across the street.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instantly.
You know, sometimes we can't always turn a blind eye to everything. If somebody's out there screaming for help, I know the way things now is crazy, and you don't know whether people being genuine, straight up, or whatever. But that's when your discernment got to kick in
Yeah.
and say, you know, something is wrong here. Something ain't right. But I mean, it was so loud. Her doorbell camera, they across the street now picked up all of the screaming. Because when you hear it, you think it's in the house, but it's not. Because I'm going like, well, where the people at? I said, oh my God, what is going on in this house? People, mom and daughter running from across the street. Husband done going crazy in the house. And she's just screaming, my son is still in there. My son is still in there. It's real, y'all. And this is why we got to campaign. I don't care whether you've been in a part of it or not. And this is why I wear both colors. I know it's breast cancer awareness month. I represent both. I got my pink on and I got my purple on.
Yeah.
Because this thing about domestic violence is serious. You got people losing their lives every day. Every day.
Every single, and you got, and we're seeing a lot of men
Mm-hmm.
killing their wives.
Yeah.
Like it's constant. It's every single day. Um, I mean, I'm not perfect. I make, bad decisions, every single
Of
day,
course.
but I just, I just want to, if I can, if we could just touch one or two people,
Right.
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
hey, it's important to just to love yourself because, I was like, I got into my situation because I did not like myself or love myself. And I just wanted to be loved because, and I one of my biggest flexes is the fact that I never had daddy issues and I'm grateful for that. But I had a lot of issues with my family, a lot of situations to where I was physically abused as a child. Um, and I was confused. I didn't know, because I had my granddaddy, my grandmother's last name, Copeland, and my auntie adopted me, and I got her last name, and then I never used it really, only on certain things, and I was kind of confused because I was living in like 50 different houses before I was the age of like 12, and I was just so confused, and I just wanted to be loved by one
Mm-hmm.
person, like a lot of us do, but
Mm-hmm.
4 years by myself. I said, I'm not doing this no more. I've been single since 2017. And just recently I thought I found a great guy, but that didn't work out. And so from 2017 until like right now, I was single. And why? It was because I had to do a lot of healing, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of shadow work. I literally had to interview people that abused me as a child to say, okay, how was I at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? Because I wanted to go back into my inner child to resolve those issues I had with my inner child in order to be the best version of a woman that I am today. 4 years I spent years in between relationships. You know, I wanted to do that work because I was like Evie and Life said, you know, you don't want to get into a situation to where like you're impacting someone else because of what somebody else did you, right? And so I just want to say this last thing. Relationships are not supposed to be hard. They're supposed to be fun. We make them hard as humans. They're supposed to be fun. If you can't have some type of form of communication with your significant other, and you're screaming and yelling at each other instead of sitting down and say, okay, how can we, how can we make this work? How can we do better? Whatever situation may be, then you need to reevaluate if you need to be in a relationship, if you have to scream to get your point across.
Mm.
Like I said, I don't do bad behavior when it comes to men. And I would rather be single to deal with a man that I gotta constantly ask him to do right when it's common sense shit that he should be doing anyway.
That part.
But this is the thing, sis. A lot of men don't have common sense. So again, I be feeling like, you know,
You got a point.
no, I'm just
got a
saying
point.
you can't.
But you got a point though.
When the young crowd, like when you have people that's been fully healed and they're walking in this where, whoa, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it without saying it, but men have to be trained. But you have to know, because that's when you talk to me about a man, to me it's like you know exactly what you want. But the thing is that man there's not going to be a man out there like what you.
Girl, he ain't born yet, girl. He ain't even
No,
born
sis, they don't. They have to mature. They literally have to mature. Now I get it that there's different brands out there now, but men, like I said, you don't. Whoever, when you marry, when you're on your wedding day, I promise you that man is going to be totally different in 5 years. He's going to be different in 10, and you're going to keep seeing different things about him change, but he's not going to be. My husband just walked out when I said it, but he's not just gonna, it's not gonna be everything that you want. Like, it's never about you. I'm just sorry. Am I right, sis? It's just, and look, my sister Stack is with me. Like, you'll be by yourself forever if you don't just be a ride or a die. Like, I'm telling you, like, I don't want you to think. And sis said, as we change too, we're changing. I'm growing, right? But I'm growing with him. He's walking through his trauma. I'm walking through my trauma, but we doing it together because we chose to be together. So if you get out here and you meet a man and he might have A, B, and C on your list, right? But he might not have D, E, F, and you put pros and cons on a list, and he's a good provider. He's a godly man. He's this. Oh, but he may be a little late. Oh, he may not be as neat. Oh, he may not even have the kind of money you want, but these are the qualities. Sometimes you have to go ahead and go over to them, believing and trusting in God, and eventually he'll work out to be, but he's still gonna have some issues because men just have issues. Like I can't wait to see your husband, because girl,
that goes back to what I always say. You have to meet people where they're at. You have to meet where they're at.
You do.
And
that's why I said I never knew the signs with my first husband. I met him where he was, and all of a sudden he just turned. I don't know how we got there, but I'm glad the Lord woke me up when he did, because 2009 I could have lost my life. He could have easily pulled the trigger.
Right.
And then for me,
and you've been with him since high school. Like, you knew him.
That was my first. After all my sexual trauma, the first person.
And that's the chance that you have to take with love, because he could be perfect for that first 2 or 3 years and flip out on the 10th year, the 6th year, the 5th year. That's where faith comes in at, and you just have to be open to being hurt to find love. You can't be so selfless. I don't know how to say it without sounding, because I
No,
love.
I'm okay with being hurt. Like for me, I'm okay with being hurt because I think that's a part of my growth. But I
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
like bad behavior. Like I just can't do it. Like if you like it, I just can't do bad behavior. It's not, I know how it makes me feel, and I cannot tolerate bad behavior. For me, I would meet a man where they are, but I'm not going to meet you in your trauma.
Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
understand that. I
Got you. So
understand
you
that.
want to fully healed. I
Yeah,
get
Yeah,
that. So that's your choice. And
yeah.
that, and AJJBH90, you heard that? That's a choice that you make. I didn't get to make that choice either, but that's a great choice. You're gonna make sure that man
Mm-hmm.
is totally healed and ready to be.
Be
I wish.
what you need him to be.
Because when
I
you
understand.
walking through with a man and they're healing and you healing, it's a lot.
Complicated. It's
It's
complicated.
complicated because you're growing, but you also watch that person that you love get hurt so much
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
over and over and over, and you love them and you want to pull them closer to you, but then you hurt too, so you are pulling them away, pushing them away, even though you want them close. You know what I'm saying?
and can I say this too? Like for me, I'm preparing myself for like to be married. So I make little small like changes. Like
Daily.
I sleep wild. I'm a wild sleeper. Girl, I be off the bed. Like I wake up at the top of the bed, and then like in a like I'll be in the middle of the bed, like up at the end of the bed. So I'm making like changes. Like okay, stay on this side of the bed. Try to stay on this side of the bed, or just like conscious about like how I put things away, or just
Mm-hmm.
about like little things like making space. So I'm like preparing for um that mate my husband or whatever. So
Oh,
is
That's a good thing.
yeah,
it's so
but
great. I love it that
yeah,
you get that opportunity, man.
I
That's
am.
because you're gonna be completely
Yes.
that well, nobody's perfect, but that wife that's just ready for whatever he brings.
Everything.
And then you're
Yeah,
gonna have him totally healed. So I mean, y'all just
Mm-hmm.
gonna live in joy.
yeah,
And
You're gonna be totally prepared.
that to me is so unreal. And I can't wait to live it with you and see you have that, because I think that's beautiful.
yeah. Because I'm not looking for there's no perfect person. I mean, there's no perfect
Right.
because nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. I may like I'm a neat freak, right? And he that may drive the man crazy. Like if like girl, you come to my house.
Hello, he gonna be like,
Ooh,
babe, I just put that right there. Where you
Right.
put it at?
I be like,
You moved it just that
who did it? So like so little stuff. I'm being aware, so I'm not as tired. Like I am still tidy. I clean up, but I'm just being conscious to know that okay, well, it's okay. So I started leaving things out of place for a reason because I'm like, okay, if I meet a mate like this, they may leave things on a counter for a day or two, or
quick. Mm-hmm.
not food, but just a little stuff on a counter, a can opener on a counter. So I'm just preparing for little things. So I'm slowly preparing to meet that man. But like I said before, I'll meet him where he is because I don't really care about money or things of that nature. But I do care
Right.
how you make me feel, how
Right.
your character, your morals, like your relationship with yourself and your relationship with God, because
Yeah.
he I look at how you treat yourself because that's going to show me how you treat me as well.
That's good.
That's a good one.
That's real good.
But me, I'm just after everything that I've been through, I'm very cautious
Mm.
with dating because I have had plenty of men try to talk to me since leaving my ex-husband, and I tell them, what is your motive?
Yeah.
Mm.
What is your motive?
Good.
What I'm fully perfect. I'm fully embedded in everything for me and my kids. What can you offer me besides sex? What can you bring to the
Mm.
table? I'm not looking for sex or anything. What can you bring to the table beside that? What's your motive?
Mm.
What's your real motive? Yeah, I'm a nurse. I'm well rounded. My kids are totally taken care of. My grandbabies, they're taken care of. We're not lacking in any area. So what can you offer me?
Right. Right.
Wow.
So I'm not looking for anybody, but
But God
everybody
has
keep
somebody.
telling
We
me,
won't talk about that.
everybody keep telling me my soulmate is already in my face. And
He
I can
sure
say
is.
I can say that for myself because I'm seeing it now. Me and
Well,
Life had a conversation the other day.
Look at Mental.
Is there.
Mental and Miss Evie have never heard the story, but me and Miss Life talk all the time. Um, After I left my first husband, my best friend helped me through that. Um, I asked him, I was like, "Oh, I want to go back to school," and he was like, "Go back to school for what?" I said, "I want to go to school for nursing." I said, "I just feel like it's a time for a change," and he was like, "Okay, call the school. Call the school on a Monday. So I'll meet you there." This is the first man I ever known to do anything like this for me. The lady said 26,000. He laid the money right there on the table for her.
wow. Girl,
I
go
didn't have to.
ahead,
I didn't have
girl.
to pay. I didn't have to pay a dime
God,
for
Jesus,
nursing
look at
school.
Father,
Pay a
the
dime for
God be
nursing
the
school.
glory.
I need about 80K. Ooh.
Then and then it's just the little simple things. I can call him and talk to him and say I need a hug or anything. That man, he instantly comes. He comes and
Yeah.
he listens. He don't judge. He just sit there and listen. So Friday night we went on a date. I was totally unexpectedly, but my children had been telling me. Two of them, they prophecies. They can see stuff before it happened. My oldest and my youngest daughter. The oldest is a boy and the youngest is a girl. They can see stuff. My daughter told me 2 weeks ago, she said, "Mom, I can see a proposal. I can see a house. I can see all of this." She said, "Next year by your birthday, you're going to be married." I told her, "Quit playing." 2 days later, my oldest son called me. "You ain't got your ring yet?" I'm like,
Girl.
hold up. I'm like, what ring? What ring are y'all talking about? I said, your sister just had the same conversation. Okay. So my best friend called me. He's like, "Get ready. I'm finna come get you. We finna go on a date." I'm like, "Okay."
You need to go backwards. Go to the first proposal, please.
When he
Thank you.
proposed, girl, go get your man.
Please go to the first one before you go.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the first one. I'm gonna go to the
Because
first
there was
one.
a first proposal.
Please
Yes,
tell
it
it
was
Okay.
a
all.
first one. It was a first one. It was a first one. Right after he paid for nursing school, me and his mom had a great relationship, and she was like a week before she got ready to transition. She told me, she said, "You know what? I don't consider you as his girlfriend. I consider you as his wife. You're my daughter-in-law." And I just took it as a joke. I
Prophecy
literally.
number one, huh? Okay.
So we're preparing for his mom's funeral and everything, and his sister and his brother, they have always called me sister-in-law all throughout the years of me knowing him. They never addressed me by my name. They never said his girlfriend. They always said sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So the day of the funeral, his sister said, "Be prepared." I'm like, "Be prepared for what?" I didn't pay attention. So his brother, "Oh, today, today, I'm talking about they hyped, they primed up. I'm still in the blind." So the family cars pulled up. Me and him finna get ready to get in the truck together to go to his mom's funeral. His sister said, "No, you riding with me. You getting in the family car with me. We need to have a talk."
Mm.
I'm puzzled. So I'm just looking at her. I'm like, "What we got to talk about?" She asked me, said, "Are you prepared for today?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm prepared. I'm as prepared as I can be."
Mm-hmm.
She said, "I just can't wait till this evening. You know something I don't know. Please go and tell me. Please go and fill me in because I don't like surprises. Go and fill me in." So we get back to the house. I'm fixing his plate. I asked him, I said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want everything." So I'm finna sit at the other end of the table. He said, no, sit by me. I'm like, okay, I'll sit by you. So he pulled out this little black box, and I'm just looking. His sister said, oh, it's finna go down. I'm so happy. His brother like, yeah, this the moment. So he opened the box. The most beautiful ring ever. He said, will you marry me? I told him, I said, no.
Wow.
I said, no. His sister said, why you say no? I said, I just can't. So I went outside. His sister and brother took me outside, and they were like, why you say no? I said, I can't because I'm tied to somebody else.
Mm.
My ex-husband never signed the divorce papers. He never signed the divorce papers. So I could not marry him. So Friday night, after our date, we're riding down the street. He said, if I asked you to move out of state, would you? And I said, yes. I said, only if you're going. I'm not going by myself. He said, if I asked you to marry me, will you marry me? I said, yes. He said, why now? Why would you say yes now? I said, because I'm not tied to anybody. He said, wow. I said, yeah, I got the best birthday gift ever this year. My divorce papers on my birthday.
Wow.
He said, thank you. I got my wife. I said, wow. I said, it just bring me back. He said, it sounds like you're excited. He said, but the kids are more excited than you are, though.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the kids had already told me that he was coming. I didn't know when. I said, but I thought it was a joke. He said, nothing about me is a joke. He said, I told you from day one you was going to be my wife. We may be best friends. He said, but my mom even said that when she first met you, that you're the person for me. I'm not going to meet another person like you ever again in life.
Wow. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
So, you
And
all
that
can
was,
look forward to
I can't wait.
invitation
And y'all know what?
when the
That her
day
best
comes.
friend, her first husband accused her of for 19 years. And she never slept with him.
Wow.
But God just kept him, and that man stayed, and he was just her best friend. I think that that's going to be one of the most touching weddings. I think that y'all's story is amazing.
That
I think
is.
it's fairy tale. It's like book worthy. Like, yeah,
Yes.
everybody doesn't get their best friend to be their husband.
Yeah.
A lot of women don't even get the chance to have a best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to, I can't wait till you call me and tell me that. Can't wait till you send me the picture of the ring. I'm excited. I'm so
Me
excited for
too.
you, girl.
Congratulations,
I'm
girl.
so excited.
I love
I'm
it.
elated.
You
I
deserve
must
it.
say.
You
I must say.
deserve
Yeah.
it.
I'm so
You
elated.
deserve it. Move from Mississippi, move wherever he wants to move you and whatever he wants you in. You got your degree. You
And
can
I got the
always,
confirmation from my ex-husband.
yeah,
He
he
even
told her.
he,
Her
he even told
ex-husband.
me. My
Yes.
ex-husband told me.
Wow.
He said your husband is your best friend. He said, I'm sorry that I accused you of him for 19 years. He said, but that's your soulmate. That's who you should have been with.
Whoa.
That's
Wow.
who you should have been
That's
with
crazy. That's
all
God.
these years.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and I'm sorry for everything that I ever took you through. He said,
Wow.
we had the conversation that we had today. He said, if you had a chance to do everything over, what would you change?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't change anything because at the end, the Lord gets the glory.
That's
And
it.
I get to tell my story.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't. Nothing. Because
And
yes,
it made you who you are, you know.
yes,
It made
it
you
made
how
me
you, because
stronger.
if I just got that one man and I didn't have what I went through, and I didn't go through the trauma, I didn't go through just everything, I wouldn't be the mother I am. I wouldn't be the wife that I am. You know, guys, I put up choose to be uncomfortable. You know, I'm that uncomfortable woman.
So yeah, we know we
That's
on the
me.
uncomfortable
So
campaign.
I had to speak on it because finding that right husband and being in a relationship, a lot of times we need to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
need to be comfortable with especially if we're dating. Now, being married, it's okay to get comfortable
Yeah.
because you've got that paper. But when you're dating, you need to stay uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You need to stay uncomfortable, like my sister was saying, as far as watching their character, watching them, seeing who they are, seeing if they acknowledge you, watching how they treat their mother. You know, I always heard how a man treats their mother is how they're going to treat you. Be uncomfortable with having dates and choosing not to kiss him, even when he tries to kiss you.
And you know what? We never kissed, and today he kissed me.
Wow.
Today he did.
Oh,
Today was the
How
first
was
day.
it?
That was awesome.
It was breathtaking, I must say.
Yeah,
It was like a
yeah,
shock.
yeah.
And when I say he's a total gentleman, I've never had nobody to open the door for me.
wow.
Had nobody to pull out a chair for me. I
Mhm.
never had nobody to say, "Hey, what do you want today?" It's not about me. What do you want to eat today? Where do
Wow.
you want to eat at? What do you want to do?
Hmm.
Everybody that I dated before him, they never
Right,
included me. So to
right.
be included is something different.
It's uncomfortable.
It very,
It's
very,
uncomfortable.
and it's just every time we get in the car, I'm so quick to try to reach for the door. He's like, "What are you doing? That ain't your job. That ain't your job." He said, "Did I ask you to open the door?"
Mm.
I said, "I'm just used to doing." He said, "No, you with a real man. This is not a boy.
Ooh, like that. Yeah.
This is a real man."
Cousin,
I
or
love it.
And then
Wow.
I mean,
That is so awesome.
he told me, he said, "I've been running after you so long." He said, "And my brother told me to stop.
Mm.
If it's for you, it'll come back."
mm.
He said, "And that's why when I told you to be ready Sunday," he said, "I'm just testing to see if you was gonna actually come." And when I made it here, he was here.
Wow.
He was here. He beat me here. And I asked him, I told him his life. I asked him, I said, "What, you and my mama working together? Y'all working together? Y'all in cahoots together?" He said, "I'm gonna tell you something. Your mama said you was running from me just like I was running from you."
Amen. Yes.
That's awesome. You know what? I really believe that
Come on.
husbands were built for you. God couldn't just give you anybody because even though you've gotten to the level to where you are, you still gonna need that leaning post,
Mm.
if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah,
It
it does.
does.
And that man has got to be know how to be that leaning post. That's why everybody can't be for everybody. And I believe that's why you have the husband you have, and you have the soon to be husband you're going to have. And mental, your husband is already built too. He find you, you going to know it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, for my story, that Sunday afternoon, I wasn't looking for a husband. I wasn't looking for nobody. But that day changed my whole entire life. 33 years later, I had the bestest husband in the world. Because see, God knows. He said, you know what? You done suffered enough. Now I'm getting ready to bless you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he does. You know, that's why I'm so glad I served a God like this. That's why I love him so much.
He's amazing.
Because he looks out for us. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna build a husband just for her. I'm gonna build a husband I'm gonna build a wife just for this person. because that's what he does. Because he knows that we deserve the joy and the happiness and the peace that comes along with it. And it's
Yep.
like you can finally do this,
Yes.
you
I
know.
walk around my house still exhaling because I was just telling Mental this. I don't feel like this is real. It still doesn't feel real that I have this bedroom and Michael will come through and he doesn't say anything to me and he's not throwing me and he's not cussing at me. And I genuinely have peace.
Yeah.
The only time I don't have peace is when I answer my phone and it's with a friend that's going through or something. But that's where I get just me, myself. I learned how to love myself, you know. I was telling Mental this too. I never had like a 1 bedroom apartment. You know how all women, you get that 1 bedroom apartment and you have the answering machine. You have this man that pays the electric bill. You have this man that takes you out on Friday night. I never got to experience that, but my husband gives it to me now because I told him, I was like, babe, you know what? I never got to be just about me, you know? So I get to get a she shed when we buy the house and I get to decorate it how I want to. That's gonna be my 1 bedroom apartment. Not that I'm not gonna sleep with my husband, but I'm gonna have it. He takes me out every Saturday now. You know, it's about me, regardless of what he has. But he didn't know because I didn't communicate. Because I was scared to tell him that. That's what I need because I don't want to lose him because
Yeah.
of where I've been and who, you know, I have a problem with not being approved and not feeling loved. So when you find somebody that loves you, you just want to fall in. You want to conform to whatever they do and say. You don't want to tell what you want. What I want don't matter. And today I'll give you an example. I'm still doing it. Today we went shopping and I got the kids stuff. I got Mike's stuff. We get to the checkout and I didn't have nothing in that buggy. It was $300 worth of stuff for them to travel with. And he was like, are you just going to keep just destroying yourself? You're self-destructive. Why you didn't get you nothing? And I was like, baby, I don't think about me. Like, I just want y'all to be good. I can go in these closet and I can come up with something for me. But he was like, that's a mentality of, you know, of being a self-destructive. I just didn't look over there for me. I automatically went to the little boys, then the big boys, then the men, and I was ready to go because that's a lot of money. I just want to make sure y'all straight. And he was just like, I guess I got to shop for you too. And I was like, no, it's not that I want you to shop for me. I don't even know you know how you don't know what you need?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't,
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like what I want, I'm asking too much for it. I'm asking too much of it. Like things that I want, I feel like is irrelevant when you have kids and when you have, my son's about to graduate from high school. He's got to go to college. You know, he has a car, but his wants are way more important than anything that I want. Shoot, I want a sleep number bed. I want a house. I want a car, but I don't have to have it. Y'all have vehicles. I don't go anywhere. I work from home. I'll always be okay. I would feed my kids steak and shrimp and eat a pack of noodles if I had to. I always want my kids. But another thing is that I always wanted kids and I wasn't able to have kids. And that's a whole nother story. I didn't come on here to give my whole life tonight, but I think that I'm learning to love me more. I have great sisters. I've met some great women that love me genuinely. And I never been just love for who I am. You know, I've always been that friend that could give. But I have sisters that I don't have to give nothing to, man. All I got to say is good morning and I love them. Like they don't want nothing from me. And it feels so weird to have people around you that really love you. Like if you don't show up or if you don't just say good morning or happy, whatever, they checking on you. And never had nobody check on me. So my life at this point, I'm so happy. And I just want to thank. First, I'm going to thank everybody in here because everybody in here is my sisters too. And I know I'm saying sis to everybody, but I am that sister. I love everybody. So I have my sister Tara in here. I met her a year ago on Facebook. I have Sister Stack. That's my sister that I prayed for. I needed a sister that was married. I needed some woman that would make me feel like you ain't crazy. You ain't this. But you know what my sister taught me? She taught me just to shut my mouth. And she's made my marriage better in 3 months because I shut my mouth. So God gives you. I have Sister Shay. That's my little sister I met on Facebook last year. I said Tara. I was just trying to give everybody a shout out. Who else is in here? And these other names, I'm not sure. JBH90. How do I know you? Underground. I know I met that sister on TikTok. She's my sister from Evie's channel. We have praise and prayer every day. Who else is in here? I just don't want to leave anybody out. I seen my friend Tiff. Thank you for being in here, Tiff.
I saw
Kim
Sunflower
C.
earlier.
Is that Sunflower? Kim C.
Yeah.
Sunflower, thank you so much for coming in. Beverly, I know that's Auntie's child from work. Thank you for coming
That's
in.
my child.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that everybody learned something, got something from this. I'm over here sweating real hard because I get excited. I want to thank my sisters right here, right now. I want to thank y'all guys. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know that this was very hard for me. And for y'all to just be on here with me, it means the world to me. We're going to all meet up one day. We're going to be at Shayla's wedding soon. We're going to have to, you know what I'm saying? We headed to Mississippi or wherever my brother married her at. I don't even know my brother, but he's my brother. And I'm waiting for my invitation. But we got that wedding to go to. We got some great memories to make together. I'm excited about our future. I'm excited about all our future. I'm excited for what God is doing. I'm excited that we've all decided together to be uncomfortable in some way. Something in our life is uncomfortable, and that's why we're growing, guys.
Amen.
Yes.
That's why we're growing. And I thank you for loving me. I thank you for trusting me. I thank you for just knowing who I really am. Because when I talk to y'all both, I don't feel like I haven't known y'all less than a year. Like, I feel like I've been in your life. I feel like you know me. A lot of times I'm telling you stuff about MJ, and you ain't even met my kids, but you talk about them like you know them, and it's how it's rolled. And that's when you know it's God. That's when you know God put us together at the right time. He's got a plan for all of us, y'all. So let's just keep loving God, keep loving each other, see what all he has for us. Do you have anything to end it out with, Mental?
No, it's just been an honor to be alive. And thank you for sharing your stories. Love yourself. That's that's the most important thing, gift that you can give to yourself.
Yes.
Loving yourself, putting yourself first. Taking care of yourself in all aspects, from physical to mental to emotional to financially. Just sure that you're in a place of healing, of work. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you guys. And so, thank you for the invite. I can't wait to see your brain and hear about your proposal, because that's
so excited.
That's exciting.
It is.
It's really exciting. And I love to see people happy and glowing. So
Come with the hard-headed child.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
Oh, and I just want to say, Auntie, I'm not going to keep asking you to be on my box, but if you will help me, my next live is going to be, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about points. I don't know how, but we're going to talk about how to love yourself.
Yeah.
What you need to do daily to keep loving yourself. We had our first live was how to set boundaries. Now we're going to talk about how to love ourselves. And one of the main things about loving yourself, I always say at the end of all my videos, love you, but love God more. Because if you love God, you're going to love yourself. So our next live is going to be talking about how to love yourself and what it looks like. And I think Mental can give us that more than anybody, because I'm still learning. My sister Shayla's learning, but we'll be here with you. And you can teach us old women too, because we need it.
I know.
Oh, goodness.
We need it. I thank God. Like, I'm so thankful for Mental, because she she makes me think differently. And a lot of times we need that because we'll have friends that just keep your mind, you know what I'm saying? They don't, not that they don't want to see you grow, they just don't know how to stretch you because again, they have you where they need you, you know?
Mhm.
When you
Exactly.
meet someone that sees you in a whole nother place, has got a vision that you could never have for yourself.
That's it.
Yes.
And I always have that for everybody. I'm glad that everybody keeps saying that they enjoyed it. I'm glad, y'all. I'm glad. I'm still new to hosting, but I'm doing
She
what God
doing a
tells
good
me to do.
job.
I'm doing what God. I was gonna say I'm trying to do my
She,
best, but I'm trying
no,
not to say
she
I'm trying.
doing a good
I'm
job.
doing
Yes.
I'm doing what God is telling me to
She
do.
doing a good job.
Yeah.
You
So our
did.
next one's gonna be on how to love ourselves. Okay.
Oh,
So
that's a good
sis,
one.
you got anything
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
close it out with?
I will only say, um, work through your issues before trying to get into another relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I thank Miss Evie and Miss Life for helping me through my issues because if not,
Mhm.
what I'm going through right now with my best friend would have never took place.
Mm.
But it was the right time. It was like God got you out of that situation. You
Mhm.
came in, I gave you my number, and we started talking. And then we got the journals, and we never even really touched the journals because all I said was love you. Just keep loving you, and I'm gonna inspire you every day, and I'm right here with you. And if you need me, you hit me up. I ain't gonna bother you. I don't like bothering my friends, but if you need me, I got you, and I'm gonna give you life. I'm gonna push you. We ain't going backwards. I tell Mental this. We don't go backwards. We keep moving
Mm-mm.
forward. We
Yeah.
move forward. Anything that made me leave, I don't need to go back because they're gonna do something again. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna do it again, and they might do it worse the next time. Right, Tara. Planning and preparing is a good thing. It's a very good thing. Thank you,
Yes,
Shay.
it is.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. Okay, I'm not gonna keep y'all no more. We've been on here for what is it? I seen a time, didn't you? 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Minutes and
Look
20.
at this
That-
time. Look at life, love, blessings, girl.
Yeah.
She did that, didn't she? Yes, she did.
Auntie, you want to shut
Mhm.
us down?
She,
Pray us out.
I don't know what she want me in here for. She
Because
doing
you
fine
know,
by herself.
you give me so much strength. I
She just
need the
like she
strength.
can't do this by herself. Look at her. She over here doing this thing here. What you need me for?
Always move forward. That's right.
You give
But
us
you know what? But I
courage
thank
and
God. I
enlightenment.
mean, I thank God for, you know, I count it as an honor and a privilege, and I don't take it lightly. And everything, of course, to God be the glory. I take no credit for nothing. But, I just thank God for this. This is more information. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For to learn more about something that's very prevalent and that's going on right now as we speak. And where does it end? When does it stop?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and this is just my thought processes, it's just like I said earlier. If you get to the root cause, which is the person that's causing the abuse,
Mm-hmm.
then I believe that you'll be able to save more lives, including the person who's causing the abuse. Because, and I'm not saying that's an excuse for them to do anything to anybody else, but nobody helped them. They just did what they thought was normal. And for some, they think that's normal.
A lot of men don't even have a man to watch to know how to be a man.
Yes.
Exactly. They don't
A
have an
lot of men,
example.
they don't have any examples. And I get that too. I totally get it because I'm raising 2 boys. And it's very important, that I teach them my side, but I also know that there's a time and a place, and they're both at that age where it's Michael now. I'm only there
Exactly.
to nurture them. I can only
Exactly.
love them and spoil them because they'll always be my babies, but he has to make them into the men, those godly men that can walk on this earth and treat them,
Exactly.
and they've seen nothing but goodness from him. So I know they're going to carry that They ain't seen no craziness. And I thank God that I didn't have
Amen.
any kids watching me go through that. That, you know, they didn't have to see that. Now they've seen,
Amen.
my oldest has seen other men, because I still have, I don't know if you experience this, but there's still a fear. I can tell some men I still just have fear in. It's just I don't want to touch them. I still just want to serve them food. I want to give them what they want, and I want them to stay back. And if I give them any type of inkling feeling that, oh, you're like a brother to me, they end up hurting me. So therefore, I just sort of stay clear of that, because I know my AJ has seen that a couple of times with men in our that I thought were brothers. So yeah, but we're going to talk about how to love each other, how to love ourselves.
Exactly.
Try to do that in November. I got Auntie's birthday. I need everybody to get ready for November 14th. Evangelist G is going to be 61. We got a big birthday celebration. I'm excited. We're going to do that on TikTok. I need you to start listening to what she says in her lives if you're in there, because those are going to be questions that I asked you for a little door prize at her birthday party. But you got to be able to know her. You got to know her to win the door prize. So again, I love you guys. I want you to love yourself, and I want you to love God more. And thank you for trusting Life, Love, Blessings. Have a great night.
You do the
Good
same.
night, guys.
Good night.